And Jesus said, a certain man had 2 sons. And the younger of them said to his father, Father, give me the portion of goods that falleth to me. And he divided unto them his living. So the younger son said to his father, Father, give me my portion of your wealth that belongs to me. And the father did give him his portion. And not many days after, the younger son gathered all together and took his journey into a far country, and there wasted his substance with riotous living. And not many days after that, the younger son takes his portion of the father's wealth and goes into a far country, and there he wasted all his money with riotous living, careless living. And when he had spent all, there arose a mighty famine in that land, and he began to be in want. And when the younger son had spent all his money, there arose a severe famine in that land, and the younger son began to be hungry. And he went and joined himself to a citizen of that country, and he sent him into his fields to feed swine. And the younger son went and meets a citizen, a villager of that country where the famine was, and the villager sends the younger boy into his fields to feed the pigs. And he would fain have filled his belly with the husks that the swine did eat, and no man gave unto him. And the younger son longed to fill his belly with the food that was being eaten by the pigs, but nobody gave the younger boy anything to eat, and he was starving. And when he came to himself, he said, and the younger boy said to himself, How many hired servants of my father's have bread enough and to spare, and I perish with hunger? So the boy says, how many hired servants of my father have enough bread to eat and to spare, and here I am dying from hunger? I will arise and go to my father, and will say unto him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and before thee. So the younger boy says to himself, I'm going to get up and go to my father, and I'm going to say to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you, and am no more worthy to be called thy son. Make me as one of thy hired servants. And the younger boy says to himself, I'm going to tell my father that I'm no longer worthy to be called your son. Hire me back as your servant in your house. And he arose and came to his father. But when he was yet a great way off, his father saw him and had compassion, and ran and fell on his neck and kissed him. So the younger son gets up and goes to his father. But when he was a little bit far off from arriving to his father's house, the father sees him, recognizes him, and he had compassion and pity over him, and he ran and fell on his neck and kissed the boy. And the son said unto him, and the younger son said unto his father, Father, I have sinned against heaven and in thy sight, and am no more worthy to be called thy son. Father, I've sinned against heaven and in your sight, and I'm no more worthy to be called your son. But the father said to his servants, Bring forth the best robe, and put it on him, and put a ring on his hand, and shoes on his feet. So the father tells his servants to bring the best robe, and put it on the younger boy, and put a ring on his finger, and shoes on his feet. And bring hither the fatted calf, and kill it, and let us eat and be merry. And bring here the fat cow, and let's kill it, and let's eat it, and celebrate. For this my son was dead, and is alive again. He was lost, and is found. And they began to be merry, and they began to celebrate. Now his elder son was in the field. As he came and drew near to the house, he heard music and dancing. So the older boy, now he was in the field. As he comes close to his house, he hears music and dancing. And he called one of the servants and asked what these things meant. So the older boy asked one of the servants, what's going on? And he said unto him, and the servant said to the older boy, Thy brother is come, and thy father hath killed the fatted calf, because he hath received him safe and sound. The servant says to the older boy, Your brother has returned, and your father has killed the fat cow, because your younger brother has returned to your father safe and sound. And he was angry and would not go in. Therefore came his father out and entreated him. And the older brother was angry, and he would not go in to celebrate. Then his father comes out to plead with him. And he answering said to his father, Lo, these many years do I serve thee, neither transgressed I at any time thy commandment, and yet thou never gavest me a kid, that I might make merry with my friends. And the older boy says to his father, I have served you for so many years. I have not transgressed. I have not sinned at any time against your commandments. And you have never given me a goat that I may take and celebrate it with my friends. But as soon as this thy son was come, which hath devoured thy living with harlots, thou hast killed for him the fatted calf. But soon as your son is returned, who has devoured and wasted all your wealth with harlots, you have killed for him the fat cow, and celebrate. And he said unto him, and the father said to his oldest boy, Son, thou art ever with me. Son, you are always with me, and all that I have is thine, and everything that I have is yours. It was meet that we should make merry and be glad. It is right that we should celebrate and be glad. For this thy brother was dead and is alive again. For this your brother was dead and is alive again, and was lost and is found. Amen.